All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about something that's, well, it's pretty fundamental to being human. It's all about getting a handle on our own emotions so we can forge way better, stronger connections with the people around us.
So, you know that feeling, right? When you're hit with this sudden rush of anger or this wave of frustration that just feels totally overwhelming. It really feels like it's about to knock you right off your feet. But what if we looked at those feelings a little differently? This is the big idea we're going to explore. Think about your emotions like they're waves in the ocean. They're totally natural. They're not permanent. They swell up, they hit their peak, and then they always recede.
Okay, so our first section is all about this idea, learning how to become a surfer on your own emotional ocean. Instead of just getting tossed around by the currents, it's about learning to navigate your own inner world.
Now, the main technique for this is something called letting be. And what's so interesting about this is that it's kind of the exact opposite of what most of us do instinctively. Instead of trying to push a feeling away or fight it, you just observe it. You get curious. You accept that it's there without beating yourself up for feeling it in the first place.
You know, the poet Rumi had this absolutely beautiful way of describing this. He said, being human is like running a guest house. And every morning, a new feeling arrives, joy, anger, sadness. Our job isn't to slam the door in their face, but to welcome them in, because every single one of them has something to teach us before they leave.
Let's make this feel a little more real. So, meet Carlos. He's playing his favorite video game, and it is just not going well. He keeps losing, and he feels that hot, prickly frustration just building and building inside him. It's a huge wave, and his first instinct is to just throw the controller across the room.
But instead of doing that, Carlos tries something new. He just pauses. He actually notices the heat in his face, the tension in his hands, and he thinks to himself, wow, okay, this is frustration. He takes one deep breath. And just by doing that, the intensity starts to fade. He didn't stop the wave, but he rode it. He navigated it without letting it crash.
Now, what Carlos just did wasn't some kind of magic trick. It's actually pure brain science. So next up, let's peek under the hood and see what's actually happening inside our brains when we practice this kind of mindfulness.
To really get this, we just need to know about two key players in the brain. First, you've got the limbic system. Think of this as your brain's reactor. It's fast, it's emotional, it's your gut reaction. Then you have the prefrontal cortex. Let's call this the manager. This is the part that helps you focus, think logically, and keep things under control.
So here's how it works. Every single time we practice mindfulness, like when Carlos paused to take a breath, it's like taking our brain's manager to the gym. The more you do it, the stronger that prefrontal cortex gets. And well, a stronger manager is way better at stepping in and calming down the emotional reactor when it starts to go haywire.
Okay, so we're getting the hang of riding our own emotional waves. So what's next? Well, this is where we learn how to use that skill to understand the waves other people are riding. And this brings us to what I honestly think is a real-life superpower: empathy.
At its core, empathy is pretty simple. It's the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. It's not about knowing exactly what they feel, but it's about making a genuine effort to imagine their world from their point of view.
And it's really important to draw a line between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is when you feel for someone. It's looking from the outside in and saying, oh, that's too bad. But empathy is feeling with someone. It's about creating a connection. It's saying, I'm here with you, and I'm trying to understand. It is so much more powerful.
And why is this so critical? Well, a student named Janet put it perfectly. When we practice this, it just changes how we interact. It helps us build a world where people are genuinely more accepting, more helpful, and more connected to each other. So let's see what this superpower looks like when the rubber meets the road. This next part is all about how a tiny moment of empathy can completely transform a conversation between friends. So let's picture this. We've got Maya, and she's at lunch with her friend Sam. But she notices something's a little off. Sam is really quiet, he's not really participating, just kind of staring at his food. And right there, that's the first step of empathy, just noticing.
Now, the easy thing to do would be to just assume Sam's in a bad mood and leave him alone, right? But Maya's curiosity kicks in. She pauses and wonders, what's actually going on here? What's behind the silence?
And this is where the magic happens. Instead of jumping to conclusions, Maya just gently asks, hey, you seem a little quiet. Everything okay? And because she created that safe space for him, Sam opened up. He told her his dog was really sick and he was worried. That one small, empathetic question didn't just comfort Sam, it made their bond even stronger. That little story brings us right to our final section, where we zoom out and connect these personal moments to the much, much bigger picture. When you boil it all down, it comes back to this one simple idea. When we learn to ride our own emotional waves, it gives us the balance and the space to notice the waves that other people are dealing with. And practicing empathy, one conversation at a time, well, that's how we build better friendships, stronger communities, and yeah, a kinder world. It's a skill, and just like any other skill, the more you practice, the better you get.
So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. Empathy isn't just some abstract idea to think about. It's an action. It's something you do. So the only real question is, whose shoes are you going to try stepping into today?